welcome back to another episode here on The Richter Show. Now, I want to start off by saying that sometimes it's really hard for me to review lounges at the lounge area, whether because I'm in a hurry or sometimes it's just really loud, but there's just no privacy for me to do it though. So sometimes I have to wait until I get to another destination, an hotel in this case, and then I do the review afterwards. So I'm gonna do a 2-for-1 on this one. I'm gonna be reviewing the iGA lounge. This is actually in Turkey, in Istanbul, which is actually happens to be the capital of Turkey. And let's dive right into it though. So I'm gonna show you first the main lounge. And the reason why I did two, not only was it for me to do a review for it, I did use the priority pass. This is how I have access to these lounges. But in some areas there is an hour restriction. And since I was gonna be so long at the airport, I decided to do 3 hours in one lounge, 3 hours in the other lounge. So on the first lounge I wanna review, it's actually the main one, the big one, the iGA lounge. It's actually very big, very spacious. There's a lot of privacy. There's not much of sleeping areas, but there are a lot of comfortable like love seats, let's put it that way, and a lot of comfortable seating. If you're lucky, maybe you can pull 2 chairs together, or if you're lucky in some areas like I did, I was able to lay down, kind of like the sofa areas that were there. Either way, I'm going to show you around the place so you have an idea and feel what it is. Now, there was a buffet of food there in which you can eat. There is a smoking area. There's a lot of windows so you can actually see the planes. There's an area where you can actually see your flight, so that way you don't have to be getting out of the lounge to see where your flight's gonna come up or not, and then you get back in. There's also showers, in which I really did not use. I didn't have to, at least for that flight. I had taken a shower in a previous lounge, so I didn't get to use it. My sister did use it. She said it was nice, it was clean, it was spacious, and she had like her own area for it though. So if you need to shower, like for a long connecting flight, that's a perfect place to do it. You don't have to pay extra for it. There was a lot of variety in food. There's like little different buffet areas, and there was also an area where you can get up and order something specific if you wanted to. Alcohol is limited. A lot of countries that are Islam, alcohol is forbidden for them. So don't be surprised if you go to like an Islam country and you don't find alcohol, or it's very limited to find. Either way, this is a really big lounge. I actually enjoyed it. I stayed my 3 hours there. I loved it. Would I stay at that lounge again? Absolutely. And if I had to rate it on the Richter scale, 4 out of 5. The reason why I give it a 4 out of 5 and not an entirely 5, because I always like to explain and give it a fair rating, is because there wasn't an area kind of like separated where you can be a little more private if you wanted to, own a group. Maybe if you come with like 4 or 5 people, you kind of want to stay together in like this more private area. There wasn't that. It was more open, and even though it's spacious, but it's just some lounges comparing it, they do have these kind of like sectors, or they're like walled off, and then you kind of have one more sense of privacy for yourself, also for sleeping too. Now I want to move on to the next lounge, also that is by using the priority pass, and it's also an iGA lounge, but it's called an iGA lounge pop-up, and you'll see why. So I'm going to show you a little bit around it so you understand. It's basically like if they took an area of the airport that used to be for just regular seating for people waiting for their planes, and they turn it into like a mini lounge. I guess I'm gonna assume that it's because since one is so far from the other one, they simply decided to actually go ahead and put something that can actually function on the other side of the airport. But in my personal opinion, it's basically, like I would say, it's like a quarter of what the other lounge actually is. So either way, I stayed there the 3 hours. There was basically the same type of food as the other one, but the seats weren't as comfortable. I just picked a regular table and I stayed there for a while. The other place was actually better. But honestly, sometimes it's better to have something better than nothing. Then again, I get to eat for free and I get to relax in a better area. And the seats are technically a little bit better than the average seat at the airport itself. Now, is it a lounge that I would stay at if I had time to pick between that one and the other one. Of course not, I will not say on that. Unfortunately, on the Richter scale, I'm gonna rate it. I would give it a 2 out of 5. Yes, that is a 2 out of 5 because it looks kind of half-assed. It looks like it was just done on the fly. It doesn't look very unique or special or particular about it. Like I said, it's just like an area that they grabbed where you used to wait for your gate, and they said basic lounge, and they put some food and some tables in there and done. So I'm not bashing on it. I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm giving you what to expect, and I'm basing everything always based on my experience. So with that said, hopefully this gives you some clarity at the lounges in Turkey, Istanbul, and using obviously the priority pass. So with that said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me down below and I will answer them as quickly as possible. Once again, thank you so much for watching another episode here on The Richter Show, and I'll see you on the next airport review. Bye.
Shout out to the host of the Richter. This the Richter Show. The Richter Show.